Hi, it's me, Daphne. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going through the 24 books that I hope to read in 2024. This isn't like a die-hard, I must read these books, otherwise I'm a terrible person kind of list. It's just like the 24 books that I'm currently the most excited about, that I want to think about and prioritize as I pick books throughout 2024. It's just like a gentle reminder. We're just here to have fun. Let's go ahead and dive into these books. So the first one I want to prioritize in 2024 is Jewel by Beverly Jenkins. This is just one of her classic books that I happen to own. If you don't know, Beverly Jenkins is a historical romance author. She writes beautiful Black love romances in a historical setting. This book is about Eli and Jewel, who are friends. They both agree to do this fake marriage situation. It's only supposed to last one night, but word kind of gets out and then they actually have to get married for real. And it's them going from friends to lovers, and apparently a woman shows up to try to stir up trouble. It's like how they protect this new love that they find together. The next book I have is Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. This book was so hyped. So many of the romance girlies on BookTube were loving this book, and I'm so excited to finally get to it. I've put it on a couple TBRs in 2023, but I am prioritizing it for 2024 because it's a 5-star prediction. So our heroine is a wedding planner who doesn't believe in marriage, but she loves weddings. She thinks they're amazing. And then Elliot Bloom is a brooding florist who hates owning a flower shop until a certain bright-eyed, donut-loving workaholic shows up at his door. I think maybe it's like a second chance also, because they're exes. So yeah, I'm excited to find out what happens in this one. The next book I have is The 7-Year Slip. Again, another book that got such good feedback online, and I'm very excited to try it. It's got a bit of a fantastical, not paranormal, but magical realism vibe to it, because I think this man lives in this apartment that this woman just moves into, but he's in a different time period. So whenever he leaves the apartment, he disappears, and they're just in different, they're living 7 years apart. In my mind, I'm trying to figure out how that's gonna work. I love time travel. I think time travel in books and movies is so interesting. So intrigued to see how this author makes that premise work. Next, I have another Lucy Score book. It's Forever, Never, and guys, I can finally say that I read a Lucy Score book. It wasn't the one that I thought I would read first, but I read her Christmas Fix book, and it was a fun time. But excited to get more into the dramatic sounding ones that she has. The Christmas Fix was very Hallmark premise, and it felt that way really strongly. So this one is a lot more dramatic. I'll just read the tagline because it's worded so well. It says, "You don't fall for your brother's high school sweetheart, your boss's daughter, or your ex-wife's best friend, especially when they're all the same woman." And that just sounds so freaking good. I'm so excited to try this. It is a chunky book. I need to keep going through my Lucy Score collection. I have one more that we won't talk about because I've put on too many TBRs and it's embarrassing and I didn't read it, and I really thought it was going to be the first one I read of her, and it wasn't. So I don't want to put it on another TBR. I just want to read it. If you know, you know. Next, I have Normal People by Sally Rooney. This is another romance, maybe more of a contemporary vibe. A lot of people adore this book, and I'm excited to give Sally Rooney a try. I picked this up when I was in Ireland a few months ago. This is between Connell, I think it's pronounced, and Marianne. They grew up in the same small town, and I think he's really popular and she's not, and then they go to university together, and maybe she's more successful and he kind of feels outcasted and stuff. There's just this will they be romantic? Will they just be friends? I think it's kind of maybe the timing isn't right. I'm not really sure. For some reason, things have kept them apart. Maybe it's social class thing too. Excited to give Sally Rooney a try, and hopefully I love it. I hope I love all the books that I own, to be fair. why would I buy them if I didn't want to love them? And then speaking about my trip to Ireland, I have these other two that I picked up in Ireland, which are Binding 13 and Keeping 13. This is a duology in a larger series by Chloe Walsh. She is an Irish author, and this is like a rugby romance, and it's like new adult. I don't know how old the characters are. They might be 18, like they might be like seniors in high school, but the way they talk about school is different in Ireland, so it's like they're at college, and I just don't really know what that means. Yeah, Toman College, like American college and European college, I don't think always mean the same thing, but I could be totally off base on that. Either way, I'm very excited to get to this series. Tori from A Novel Life is obsessed with this series, and her love for it has gotten me really excited about it, so I'm happy to own these beautiful UK editions of them. I think this girl is like getting bullied and stuff, and he stands up for her, and it's very dramatic, a lot of trigger warnings. I don't know how spicy it is, to be fair, because sometimes they might not be. Oh my God, they have name pronunciations in here. Very happy to have these and gonna prioritize these in 2024. Now, keeping onto my series vibe, let's talk about another series. I have the Poppy War trilogy. So I've already read the first one, but I wanna do a reread and then continue on and do a first read of The Dragon Republic and The Burning God. So this first book ripped my heart out and threw it on the floor and stomped all over it, and I felt so much anger towards the main character, but I could understand her at the same time and relate to her, and I'm excited to like dive back into this world and refresh on what happened in the first one and just like go through all those emotions again and like be so raw so I can continue on. And then another series I have on this list is Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. I have the special editions with the black braid edges, and then kind of a bit of drama happened with Rebecca Yarros, and she got like kind of like canceled a little bit, but these are beautiful. I didn't anticipate like necessarily loving them when the Fourth Wing craze was going around, so I haven't read either of these books. This isn't a reread, this would be a first time read, but like the hype got to me, guys. I let the hype get to my head, and I was like, oh my God, more beautiful special editions are coming out. I don't want to miss my opportunity. I literally had a vlog of me in Barnes & Noble, and I was looking at the original special edition, like the first edition of Fourth Wing, and I was like, oh yeah, like that's pretty, but I'm like not that intrigued into the plot, so I didn't buy it. And then people were like, oh my God, because I posted the vlog like months later or like weeks later, and they're like, how did you not pick that up? Like they're not, and I'm like, this was a while ago. Like they're sold out now. So yeah, I just got caught up in the hype of the special editions and the drama, and I wanted to be in the know and like all this stuff. So that's where I'm at. I will read these. I'm gonna definitely do a dedicated vlog for the two of these, which I'm excited about. I'm very excited to give that to the world, to you guys, to talk about this. I'm excited to see how I will like it, and I'll probably try to go into the mind frame of like, it's not gonna be a masterpiece, but I just wanna have fun. Let's just have fun, and if I don't really like it, at least it will be fun to vlog it, and that will be enjoyable in itself. I just wanna be in the loop. Is there a Zaddy? Is there a Zayden Zaddy? Like, what is his name? Something with a Z or an X? Zayden with an X. Yes, I want to meet him. I want to know what's going on. All right, so those are all like the romance books that I physically own that I want to talk about. So I'm going to move into the physical books that I own that aren't really romance based, and then we'll go back to romance with the ebooks and stuff that I own and I want to take out of KU and like blah, blah, blah. Last. The next book I'll talk about is The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. This was Barnes & Noble's, I believe, best book of the year. It's been on a couple of top lists, so when I see these lists, I'm always intrigued to pick those books up because they're the best for a reason, and I had so much success when I tried that with like Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. It wasn't a book I would have normally picked up on my own, but because it had made the top charts, I gave it a try and I absolutely loved it. So I'm hoping to have success with this book as well. I would like to read it towards the beginning of the year. So it looks like in 1972, Pennsylvania, there was a human skeleton discovered which had long-held secrets, which were being kept for decades by residents of this place called Chicken Hill, which was a dilapidated neighborhood where immigrant Jews and African Americans lived side by side, sharing ambitions and sorrows. I'm excited to read something a little out of my comfort zone and dive into this. And then I'm so ashamed to say that I let my 5-star fear get to me with this next book. So it is The Devil in the Dark Water, which is by Stuart Turton. He wrote The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, which was a ultimate favorite book, 5 stars. Like, I will recommend that book to everyone. I just kept putting it off because I was like, oh, I think it's gonna be 5 stars. I have to read it at the perfect time. Oh, there's all this pressure that I need it to be 5 stars. Like, I really want to love it, you know, energy. I just ended up not reading it in 2023. I think I even bought this towards the end of 2022 and it's still sitting unread on my shelves. So I need to change that. I'm 1000% reading this in 2024. If I don't, somebody slap me across the face. I don't even know, like, what kind of I need some kind of punishment. I just need to get over this 5-star prediction fear. So please let me read this in 2024. Please, Daphne, read this in 2024. Okay, moving on. Oh, well, I didn't even tell you what it was about. So the premise of this book is there is a detective aboard this ship. It's 1634. He's being transported to Amsterdam to be executed for a crime he may or may not have committed, and he has a bodyguard with him. Then there's all this like weird demon scary stuff going on aboard the ship. The passengers are like hearing scary voices and stuff. It becomes a mystery, and I guess this detective guy is supposed to figure it out, but he's like imprisoned and all this stuff. Intrigued to find out what happens with this. I'm interested in the fantasy element because like the Groundhog's Day element in 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle was really fun and cool. So intrigued to see what Mr. Turton did in this book, and I have high expectations and I just need to get over that fear. Okay, I have another scary book that's scary for another reason, and it's just because it's massive. This book is huge, but it's like such a nice edition. It's so floppy. It's The Pillars of the Earth. She's asked me to read this. She put this on my December TBR, and I like literally put a bookmark in it. I was carrying it around for a couple days, and it hurt my shoulder because it's so heavy, but I didn't actually read it yet, but I really, really want to prioritize it in 2024 because I just need to start it and just slowly make my way through it over the months. This is almost 1,000 pages long, and it's out of my comfort zone, and books that are usually outside of my comfort zone, aka like not romances, I tend to read much slower because like with romances, it like just pulls me to the end. I'm like motivated. I'm like, oh, I need to see their happy ending. What's going to happen? How are they going to get together? How are they going to find their happily ever after, you know? With books that aren't romances, things don't always work out. Things could go terribly wrong and people could die or people could be miserable, and that kind of stresses me out, and it doesn't like pull me to the end as much. And also I don't know where the story's going. Like with a romance, I always know where the story's going because it's going towards them being together, but with like non-romance books, I'm like, where are we? I'm like, what is the purpose? You know, I have a harder time finding that in those, but that's not because books aren't good or anything. It's just because that's not what I'm accustomed to. This is about a monk trying to build the greatest cathedral the world has ever known, about a mason who becomes this architect, a beautiful, elusive lady haunted by secret shame, and about a struggle between good and evil that will turn church against state and brother against brother. A spellbinding tale of ambition, anarchy, and absolute power set against the sprawling medieval canvas of 12th century England. It also says it's a historical masterpiece. So pray for me that I can at least make some good progress in this book in 2024 because he's chunky and intimidating for many reasons. The next book I have is Before the Coffee Gets Cold. I think it's like a handful of short stories, and I don't know how interconnected they are. They might not be interconnected at all. This is like another magical realism fantasy kind of book. So they can go to this coffee shop and like travel back in time and talk to whoever they need to talk to, but they need to be back before the coffee gets cold. And I'm very excited about it because this book is definitely very beloved and like highly spoken of. Very intrigued to give this a try, and I'm anticipating really loving it. And maybe I'll cry. I would love that. So excited about this. And then the last physical book I'm going to put on this list is Animal Farm, but I'm kind of cheating because I'm already on chapter 8. I've been reading this over on my secret ASMR channel, which I can link down below if you're curious about it. I kind of neglect it but it's a fun time. I mostly just do it for my husband because he enjoys ASMR stuff. But yeah, I can read this over there because it's on the public domain. This is a book about animals that live on this farm that were not happy with the conditions of their farmer and how he treated them. So they revolted and they took over the farm, and it's them kind of having their own society and how they want to have this perfect utopian animal focused like government and world on this farm, but it's a lot easier said than done, and they have run into a lot of bumps along the road. There's like power grabs and like drama and murder, and like it got wild. I did not really know what to expect, but it's been quite dramatic, this book, and it's so tiny, but like the drama in this, like the pigs in this, like they need to sit down. Who am I? I like turned into another person. So that was the last one in the physical books. So let me get my phone to check the digital books that I want to read in 2024. So the first book I will mention is The Rebel King by Kennedy Ryan. This is the second book in a series. The first one was The Kingmaker, which I read last year, and I really just need to continue this duology. I think it's like in a series. There's another one, it's like The Queen Moves or something, but I think that's with another couple, like her friend. But this Rebel King one is the same couple from the first book, I believe, because the first book left off on like a major cliffhanger. The first book was this Native American indigenous woman who was like protesting all these like oil lines going in her like, you know, sacred land of her people and stuff, and this white guy whose father owned those oil lines, and how they meet each other and like kind of figure out who they are and like fall in love, but like drama, and then many years go by, and then second chance, and then kidnapping, and like cliffhangers. The way the cliffhanger ended, I was kind of like, what? I was like, where are we going from here? I had no idea. Like, it was like wild, like so wild that it almost like kind of shocked me into being like, I don't know if I can pick up the second one, but I should just really finish it because it will conclude their story and they will be together. The only thing that pisses me off is that they wasted a lot of time. They like let 10 years go by. Another Kennedy Ryan book that I want to read is like kind of a book, and this is why I said like 24 books on this list, but it's kind of like a twist. This is part of that twist. So the next book I put on here is the Grip Trilogy box set. I didn't even realize I own this because I was like, oh, I should put more Kennedy Ryan on my list. I was like, let me just check what the preferred reading order is for her backlist, and I was interested in the Grip series. So there's 3 books in it. So I was like, oh, it's on KU, perfect. And then I was like going through my digital owned stuff on Amazon just to see what else I could put on this list, and I had this box set downloaded that I own already. So I was surprised. I don't know when I did that. Did I buy that? I think I bought that on sale with like no rush points. So I basically got it for free, I'm pretty sure. It's technically one book and it's like over 1,000 pages long, which, you know, makes me sound a little silly for complaining about the other book being 1,000 pages long when I'm gonna read this book that's 1,000 pages long. But it's a romance, so it's different. So this is like a celebrity story. He's a rising star, this guy Marlon Grip James. I don't know what kind of star. I don't know if he's a musician or an actor. I have no idea. His manager is Bristol. She's his best friend's ambitious sister. It's their epic love story that is raw, sexy AF, brave, goes to the heart story. The way Kennedy Ryan writes books, she will probably add a lot of heart-wrenching stuff that will hurt us and devastate us before she puts us back together and gives us the happily ever after that we all crave. Then I'm gonna add The Roommate Risk by Talia Hibbert. So this is like friends to lovers. I believe the female lead in this like had an issue with her apartment or something, so she asks her guy best friend if she can stay with him, and he agrees, but he's been pining after her for years, and he's like, wait a second, why did I agree to let like this gorgeous, beautiful woman that is my best friend, that I'm in love with, live with me and be around me like 24/7 practically, when I can barely resist her as it is? Like, how am I gonna resist her, you know, situation? And that just sounds so fun. That just sounds so fun. I love pining. Like, I'm sure most of us love pining when we love romance and stuff, but like when pining can be done so well and like is like such a focus in a book, I eat it up, okay? So that is giving pining vibes so much. I'm excited to dive into this. I really need to prioritize that. Okay, now we're just going into the books that I was like, okay, let's just make it to 24, okay? They're books that I'm excited about, but like I don't have like a particularly good reason. It's just kind of like, yeah, this has been on my TBR for a while and I like should just get to it, you know? So the first one is A Love Letter to Whiskey. This is by Candy Steinert, I think. And it's a darker romance, I believe. I think the heroine in this has a alcohol problem and it's definitely like wrong time, wrong place. Maybe like one of them got married to like a best friend or something. I don't remember all the drama, and I think maybe one of them is like in the military. I could be making stuff up. Another book that I heard really, really great reviews on like kind of a while back. Like this has been sitting on my TBR for a while, so I really just need to read it and then take it off my KU list. I really enjoy her writing. I'll be interested to see how she handles like this more adult, darker feeling romance versus like a new adult sports romance. Then in 2024, I also want to read more Penelope Douglas. I've read 2 of her books, I think, so far, and I've had a lot of fun with them. They're very taboo and a bit controversial. Like I feel like some people either like really love her or really like hating on her because they're like, this is insane. Like, and yeah, it's insane, but it's like fun insane. Like we're just all having fun here, okay? So I've put 2 of her books on there. I have Credence, which is a story about this young woman who I imagine is like barely legal. She's probably like 18, 19. Her parents like suddenly die, maybe in like a terrible accident, and she moves in with her parents' family friend, kind of like her uncle, but they're not blood related at all, and his 2 sons, like out in the mountains or something, like in the woods. It's her romance with these men. So it's kind of like Why Choose, but I've heard she eventually picks one person. So hopefully I like the person she picks, because it would kind of suck to like have my eggs in a basket that doesn't get picked, you know, that gets smashed. And then the next book from Penelope Douglas that I put on this list is Corrupt, which is the first one in a series from her. I haven't read any of her series. I've only read her standalone. So I've read Punk 57 and Birthday Girl. And then Credence is another standalone. So Corrupt would be the first one in a series that I would try. So this is a new adult dark romance. I was like just reading the synopsis and I kind of was like, oh my God. I kind of forgot what people had said about this book. So it's between Erica and Michael. Erica is dating Michael's older brother. One night she sees something like terrifying. She's always been kind of scared of this Michael guy. Apparently / allegedly 3 years ago, she saw Michael's friends do something and got them put in prison, but now they're out and they're wanting revenge. She's in college. They're college age. Her boyfriend is in the military, so he's not around to protect her. So I'm a little nervous. I'm actually kind of scared, but very excited and just here for a good time and a spooky time, apparently. It says you can read this one as a standalone. It says it has no cliffhanger, but it is a part of a series called Devil's Night, and there are 4 books with 2 novellas in it, looks like. So very excited about that. And then the piece de resistance, the last book that I'm putting on here to make a rounded 24, is actually not 1 book and is instead 13 books. It's 13 books, guys. It's an entire series. I'm gonna pop up this graphic. I am doing a read along on Discord. It's Meredith's Discord. I will link it down below, where everybody is reading the entirety of the Zodiac Academy series. So I've already read book 1, which honestly was pretty long. I kind of forgot the details of it because it was a few months ago, and I want to continue in the series, but I was like, oh, maybe I should like reread the first one, like get a refresher. And then I heard that this read along was happening this year, like starting January. So definitely jump in if you want to. There's also a book 9, which isn't in this little graphic, but by the time we get this far, maybe it'll come out and we'll be ready. I don't even know. I hope 9 is the last one, because that will be a lot of time spent, and I would like it to be done if I manage to get that far. I feel like I'm training for the Olympics to read this series right now, because these books are long and it's on a schedule, and like that is a lot of pressure, but like I'm so excited and I'm curious to see how everybody's gonna like talk about the books, what they're gonna think about it. Guys, the 0.5 ones are still long. It's like 400 pages. I don't know. I trust this little graphic to, you know, pace it out well. That's it. So that is my list of 24 kind of, not really, it's actually a lot more books that I want to prioritize in 2024. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it, and obviously it helps out my channel, and I will catch you in another video. Bye.